And look, I told y'all on this channel, we hold racist institutions accountable. We hold racist Caucasian people accountable because if you was to unalive somebody, if I was to unalive somebody, they not letting that go. They not letting you forget about it. You can do that at 15 years old, at 90 years old. They gonna always remind you, you are a felon. When you try to apply to a job, you are a felon. When you try to get a home, you are a felon. So on this channel, we just keep the same energy. And before I go all the way in on this story, check this out.
I will not have any complications. I will have a good birthing experience.
April Valentine said these affirmations every single day. She thought she would live to see her first child, Anaya, born. But April didn't make it out of the maternity ward at Centinela Hospital in Inglewood, California.
April Valentine was 31 years old.
Now, following months of protest, that ward is set to close October 25th, 2023.
Oh, no.
Valentine's family filed a lawsuit on Tuesday, alleging in part wrongful death and professional negligence with demand for a jury trial. The Valentine family filed a complaint with the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors, alleging systemic and racist practices and seeking answers regarding the circumstances of her death.
We are here to amplify the story of April Valentine.
An initial inspection of Valentine's incident found Centinela failed to prevent the deficiencies that caused or are likely to cause serious injury or death. The LA County coroner ruled her cause of death on January 10th, 2023, a blood clot, which the hospital failed to assess for and intervene in.
Come on, my little jitterbug.
Valentine's partner, Nija Robertson, and her sister, Keisha Cordova, were at Centinela during the labor. They allege Valentine's doctor, Gwen Allen, did not arrive to the hospital for hours.
They said, well, we can't call the doctor. The doctor will cuss us out. The doctor don't like us calling her.
A formal inspection saying the hospital repeatedly failed to notify the physician as Valentine's vitals became abnormal. They allege as the hours went on, nurses were inattentive, turned her doula away despite previously greenlighting it, and pressured Valentine, who wanted a natural birth, to get an epidural. Soon after, they allege Valentine's legs began swelling and she threw up. Valentine's partner and sister say eventually April stopped breathing, but nurses did not perform CPR, so Robertson did. According to the inspection, minutes later, doctors intervened with CPR, but April died. Their baby delivered by crash C-section, unresponsive but alive.
And if you have a daughter or a sister, you will understand why this story is so important to me. And on this channel, my channel is devoted to bring awareness to my people because we can't depend on celebrities, aka, and I can't say the word, but you know what I mean. We can't depend on them. Everything they do is to distract us from what's really going on in the real world. So let's get right into this article. This article is by NBC News. It was published September the 11th, 2023 at 12:14 p.m. Maternity ward to close as family calls for justice in death of Black mother. Centinela Hospital Medical Center in California cites a declining demand for delivery services, but the move to close comes after a woman died while in labor and the ward never closed. Inglewood, California. April Valentine walked into the maternity ward at Centinela Hospital Medical Center in Inglewood, California on January 9, 2023 and never walked out. She died the next day during labor. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner determined she died from a blood clot. And look, if you've been following my channel for a while, you already know I did so many stories like this. That's why I say we always have to expose these doctors and these nurses, because if we don't, they just go keep doing what they doing to our people. They go move to other hospitals. Sometimes they keep them in the same hospitals and no one ever says anything. As Valentine's excitement over her first pregnancy grew, she also was keenly aware of the risk associated with giving birth as a Black woman, Robertson said, and Robertson is her husband. Black women in the U.S. are nearly 3 times more likely to die from a pregnancy-related cause than white women, according to a 2021 report from the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention. It said implicit bias and differences in the quality of healthcare can play a role and found that more than 80% of pregnancy-related deaths in the U.S. were preventable. So 80% of pregnancy deaths in the U.S. is preventable, but yet black women still leading it. You think that's a coincidence? You think I have time to talk about what's going on with Big Meech and 50 Cent? No, we have to talk about this because this is a form of racism. And I told y'all, when it comes to these doctors and these hospitals and these nurses, they get paid more if they tell women to have C-sections. Sometimes they'll force you to have a C-section, or they'll try to force you to have a C-section just to neglect you when something goes wrong and now you unalive. Now your husband or your boyfriend is left to raise those other kids by himself. And I'm going to tell y'all, they do all this stuff on purpose. Given us statistics, Valentine worked with a birthing doula, a person trained to provide emotional, physical, and educational support for an expectant mother or one who has recently given birth. Valentine also sought out a black physician, Robertson said, and she hung a large white board in her bedroom covered with affirmations and aspirations that she recited daily. And imagine, put yourself in her shoes, put yourself in April Valentine's shoes. You had this whiteboard in your hospital room. Every day you say these affirmations to yourself. The doctor saw it. The nurses saw it. You thought you was going to have a great labor, your first time having a kid. Imagine what went through her mind when she found out, when she started to feel crazy in her body that she was going to die. Imagine what went through her mind. And that's the reason why I make these videos, because we can't let these doctors, these hospitals, these nurses get away with this. It's so many stories that we haven't heard. Robertson alleges in the lawsuit that Valentine's obstetrician, Dr. Gwen Allen, did not arrive for hours despite multiple requests to the nurses. They said, well, we can't call the doctor. The doctor will cuss us out, nurses said. And I said, bet, let's find Dr. Gwen Allen. And I did. I found pictures of her. And I also found this video. Check this out.
Hey y'all, so I wanted to give y'all an update on the protest we did at Dr. Gwen Allen's office last week. And for those who do not know, Dr. Gwen Allen is the doctor who aided in the death of my cousin, April Valentine. Dr. Gwen Allen is not safe to black and brown mothers. Please hear me when I say this. All you have to do is Google this doctor. Please share this video as well and let as many mothers and black and brown women know to not have this doctor as your provider. She is not safe, and she capitalizes on the ignorance of black and brown mothers, and she pretends to be a safe space for black people, but she is not, y'all. I repeat, she is not safe. This doctor is arrogant, and she is operating out of arrogance, and it is very demonic. It is very demonic, okay? So when we showed up at the hospital or at her office last week, not only did they have security around the entire building as if we were going to try to hurt her or hurt people in the building, but she did not show up. She left. And I will say this, you cannot run, Dr. Gwen Allen. You cannot run. God is calling this doctor and exposing the evil that she has been participating in by harming and aiding in the death of so many black and brown mothers. Y'all, please share this video. This doctor is not safe to our community, and she must be stopped. She will be stopped. If you know anyone under her care, please remove them from her care immediately. But do not take my word for it. All you have to do is Google this doctor and watch what you find.
And I tell y'all all the time, some of the people that look like us, they are sellouts, aka they'll do whatever to go against their people. For a certain lifestyle, they'll do whatever to go against their people. And yeah, I tried to find some of her social media accounts, but it looks like she's in hiding. But I still found some information, but you can't trust some of our own people. They will go against you. This woman, the nurses were scared to call her because they knew she always had an attitude. Imagine how many black women died because of her. And look, this the cold part. The hospital was only fined $75,000 for her death to give to the family. $75,000. Make that make sense. And this part of the article really broke my heart. Her body just immediately locked up and her eyes rolled to the back of her head, Robertson said. That's her husband. I ran in the hallway and I was like, help. She's not breathing. Help, help, help. She's not breathing. Help me. Her husband, this man, was crying out for help. The nurses was taking their time. Matter of fact, he had to do CPR himself on his wife. And guess what? She died. Imagine losing the love of your life. Imagine losing your wife, the woman that was going to have your first kid. Imagine a normal day turning into a nightmare. And when it comes to me, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. So to my people, if you live in Los Angeles, you live in Gardena, if you live in Inglewood, California, send this video to people, to your friends and to your family. Send this video out, because if you see Dr. Gwen Allen, just know she unalived someone. And that's the only person we know of. It could be multiple people. That's why I say on my channel, we have to bring awareness to this, because these doctors are still practicing medicine. These doctors are still delivering babies. These doctors are still acting like doulas, like they actually care about our people. And to you, Dr. Gwen Allen, you won't get away with this. It might look like you're getting away with it now, but you're not. I always say in all my videos, with this universe, you can't unalive somebody. You can't be the reason someone is unalive and move on with life and have a peaceful life. It don't work like that. On the outside, you might look like you're happy. In these pictures, you're smiling. That's cool, but it's not over yet. Like I say, this is not a threat, but the ancestors will handle you. So rest in peace to April Valentine. I'm very sorry this happened to you and your family. I'm out.